The courtroom was thick with silence, the kind that sticks to your skin and settles in your chest. Murmurs rolled through the gallery like a chill wind sliding through cracks in a locked door. For weeks, the Diddy trial had been front-page news, each day more explosive than the last. But today was different, because today, a name echoed through the courtroom that no one expected to hear. Asterisk, not shouted, not dramatized, just spoken, quiet, deadly. It came tucked inside a sealed document, passed forward by the prosecution, almost like a routine motion. But the moment the judge unsealed it, said the name aloud, everything stopped. Eyebrows lifted. Pens froze mid. Even the usually unshakable court sketch artist stopped, pencil hovering in the air. And Diddy, he shifted. For weeks, he had sat like a statue, unreadable, untouchable. But in that moment, something cracked, just slightly. A twitch in the jaw, a hard swallow. A glance toward his attorney, whose face turned pale beneath the sharp courtroom lights. It wasn't just that Kim's name had been mentioned. It was why. Asterisk, according to internal sources, the prosecution had uncovered a whispered story from nearly a decade ago, an off-the-record encounter backstage at an award show where Diddy was headlining. And Kim had been a presenter. No complaint, no formal report, just a moment, a shadow, a whisper. Kim had left Diddy's VIP area that night, eyes red, clutching her phone. And she said only one thing: I shouldn't have gone in. No proof, just a thread. But the prosecution was ready to pull. Diddy's legal team pounced, filing an immediate motion to strike her name from the record. Irrelevant, prejudicial, inadmissible, they cried. Hearsay, they insisted. But the judge, he didn't flinch. If the name is on record, he said, and the moment can be corroborated, then the jury deserves to know. Asterisk, the temperature in the room dropped. You could feel it. And just like that, the trial veered into uncharted territory, not just about Diddy's legal strategies, but about the secrets the industry has hidden for years. Kim hadn't spoken publicly, not yet, but her silence had already been weaponized, and the world wasn't asking why did she come forward. They were asking why did she stay quiet this long. Asterisk, it was 2016, the iconic Sound Awards, a night designed to celebrate music's elite. Red carpets, champagne, flashes and smiles. Kim Kardashian arrived like royalty, her gown shimmering like liquid metal under the lights. But behind her smile was exhaustion, not physical, emotional. Controversies trailed her like shadows. She had come to present, nothing more. In, out, disappear before the crowd turned restless. That was the plan, until she received a message. Asterisk, she hesitated. They weren't strangers. Diddy and Kim had crossed paths dozens of times, Hollywood's golden circle, where fame floats and secrets sink. But still, something felt off. She agreed. Just a quick hello. She was led through guarded corridors, escorted past publicists and headsets and layers of event security. The deeper she went, the quieter it became, like walking into the eye of a storm. And then his private area, roped off, dimly lit, staffed only by Diddy's inner circle. He greeted her with a smile, small, calm, controlled. Kim, he said, I'm glad you came. They exchanged pleasantries, compliments, gratitude. On the surface, it was nothing, but under it, a shift. He leaned closer. You ever feel like the world watches you so hard, you stop knowing what's real? Kim paused. Sometimes, he nodded, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. We're protected, he said. We build layers, silence, control. It wasn't a compliment. It wasn't a threat. It was something else. Just then, a staffer burst in. They're asking for Kim. She's needed on stage. She stood relieved, but as she turned to leave, Diddy said one last thing. You're smart to go now. Not everyone knows when to leave. She didn't reply. She walked out, fast, sunglasses on, heartbeat loud in her ears. And she never spoke of that night, not to her stylist, not to her team, not even to Kanye, because what do you report? A feeling. Asterisk, years passed, but that moment, the quiet, the eyes, the door stayed with her. And now, in court, it had returned. The prosecution produced a photo, grainy, dim, Kim exiting the VIP lounge, arms crossed, eyes down. Behind her, Diddy leaning forward, watching. That it was a photo no one was supposed to see. Now it was projected for 12 jurors in a room full of strangers. But this time, it wasn't just a photo. A backstage photographer took the stand. He had captured that image, and he had been told to delete it. You didn't see anything, the man had told him. You don't want to lose your job. But he hadn't deleted it. He remembered her face. She looked shaken. He said, then came the statement. A leaked screenshot of Kim's words, short, stark, devastating. I entered Mr. Combs' suite alone. I was not told who else would be present. I felt deeply uncomfortable. I've never spoken publicly about this, but I remember the feeling clearly. I knew I had to go. One word, uncomfortable, set the internet ablaze. And UA had to go. Trended worldwide. Kim hadn't even testified live, but she didn't have to. Her words hit like thunder. Then came the others. An A-list actress. A cryptic Instagram post. That hallway. That same hallway. I never said a word either. Another voice. Another secret. Another scar. Asterisk. Then the court ruled her video would be played full, uncut, and the room held its breath. There she was. No makeup, no glam. Just Kim. He never touched me, she said. He didn't have to. Her voice wavered, but her words, "Steele, you can tell when someone isn't speaking to you. They're testing you, watching you." She described the silence, the layout, the panic. I smiled the way women smile when they're trying to leave without making a scene. I didn't tell anyone, because what was I supposed to say? That a man made me feel uncomfortable in a room full of people. That's not news, that's survival. She didn't accuse. She remembered, and the courtroom remembered with her. Part 4. The aftermath. The fallout was immediate. Diddy didn't return to court. No press conference. No denial. Just an empty seat and a folded note. The prosecution showed floor plans. The VIP lounge. One way in, one way out. No cameras. No records after Kim left. The narrative was no longer his. It belonged to the silence. And then a former assistant, who took the stand, not a victim, a witness to the culture. "We all knew," she said. "We told ourselves it's just how the industry works." She paused. "But silence is participation, and I refused to participate anymore." And just like that, the courtroom changed. This wasn't a trial anymore. It was a reckoning. Asterisk. Kim never walked back into that courtroom, but she didn't need to. Her words echoed louder than any verdict. And what she said wasn't an accusation. It was a mirror. And the world finished. The courtroom didn't just feel tense, it felt haunted. Like every breath was being held by ghosts of things never said. Things that happened behind velvet curtains. Behind doors that never had locks but were guarded by power, money, and influence. For weeks, the Diddy trial unfolded like a slow-motion car crash, every headline louder, every witness more unnerving, but no one, not the press, not the public, not even the seasoned court officials, expected the name Kim Kardashian to slide into the case like a blade between ribs. It wasn't shouted, it wasn't dramatized. The prosecution simply entered a sealed document into evidence, and when the judge cracked the seal and read the name quietly into the record, the reaction in the room was immediate and visceral. The gallery went still, pens froze in midair. Even the court sketch artist, who'd drawn every expressionless glance and muttered objection, stopped cold. And for the first time since the trial began, Sean Diddy Combs' normally statuesque, smug, unbothered shifted. Not much. A twitch of the jaw, a sharp breath, a hard blink, but enough to reveal a fracture. Enough to tell the world that the fortress might finally be crumbling. That the story the prosecution revealed was delicate, almost surgical, a memory, a night, an encounter never reported, never spoken of publicly, but whispered in hushed circles of Hollywood assistants, stylists, and security guards. The night of the 2016 Iconic Sound Awards. Kim Kardashian was there to present. Diddy was headlining. A backstage VIP lounge. A private moment. No crimes alleged. No violence, just a feeling, a deep, unsettling instinct that she never spoke about until now. The document included a third-party account, a backstage worker who saw Kim exit the lounge, eyes red, arms folded, clutching her phone, and muttering one line, "I shouldn't have gone in." It wasn't evidence, not in the strictest sense, but it was a thread, and the prosecution pulled on it until the entire fabric of Diddy's cultivated image began to unravel. Diddy's legal team fought hard. They called it hearsay. They called it a publicity stunt. They said dragging Kim into the trial was a cheap shot, an attempt to sway the jury with celebrity and innuendo. But the judge remained unmoved. If the name is on record, and if the event can be reasonably corroborated, he ruled, then the jury deserves to know. And just like that, a door, long sealed, was cracked open, and through it poured a flood of questions. What exactly happened in that room? Why did Kim never speak of it? And why, after almost a decade, was she speaking now? The prosecution didn't have video footage. They didn't need it. They had something far more potent: silence, and the way it bends under pressure. They played a single leaked photo, Kim turning in a hallway. Diddy just steps behind her. No red carpet glamour, no posed smiles, just a raw moment, her arms crossed tightly, her eyes not meeting the lens. The image alone began to shift the mood in the courtroom, because it wasn't about what you could see, it was about what you could feel. The tension, the unease, the story behind her body language. And from there, the floodgates opened. Witnesses began to step forward. A photographer, once anonymous, testified he was told to delete his images from that night, but one remained. A backstage coordinator described Kim emerging from the lounge looking disoriented, asking for the nearest exit, not wanting to walk the red carpet again. And when asked what Kim said, the witness recalled, "I shouldn't have gone in there." That same phrase, from a second source, a memory that had echoed for years, now shouted into the record. Then came the sealed statement. Kim had submitted it, privately, under oath. It wasn't read aloud at first, but its presence was electric. And when a digital reconstruction of the backstage venue was displayed for the jury, showing only one entrance and one exit, with no venue cameras allowed inside Diddy's VIP area, the silence became suffocating, because it painted a clear picture. Kim walked into a controlled space, into a place no one could witness, and came out different. The prosecution finally played her statement, a video. Kim, in a neutral room, minimal makeup, eyes steady but soft. She wasn't a reality star or a mogul or a fashion icon in that moment. She was a woman remembering. He never touched me, he never threatened me, but I knew I had to leave, she said. I smiled the way women do when they're trying to exit without creating a scene. Her voice cracked once, but she didn't cry. She spoke like someone who had buried something for years and was finally letting it out. I didn't tell anyone, not my team, not my mom, not even Kanye, because I thought, what am I going to say? That a man made me uncomfortable in a room full of people. That's not news, that's survival. And as that statement ended, no music, no fade to black, just a cold courtroom staring into the aftermath, it became clear. This wasn't about proving guilt beyond reasonable doubt. This was about dismantling a fortress of silence, built brick by brick over decades. The jury didn't just hear Kim's words. They felt the reverberations. They saw how Diddy stopped showing up to court. They watched as his legal team began to shift from offensive to defensive, scrambling to contain the damage. Other voices followed. Quiet posts on social media. Women hinting, remembering. One former music video star posted that same hallway I never said a word either. And suddenly, Kim's memory wasn't an outlier. It was a pattern. The defense tried to argue irrelevance, but relevance had already been decided by the public, by the press, and by a courtroom that now sat more still than ever before. The final blow came not from a celebrity, but from a former assistant. She took the stand quietly. No drama, no tears. I'm not here because I was hurt like others, she said. I'm here because I saw what happened to the people who tried to speak. The women who said no. The assistants who asked questions. They were shut out, replaced, forgotten. I saw Kim that night. She left that room like she was trying to leave her own skin. And I never forgot that look. That was the moment the air shifted permanently. Not because of what was proven, but because of what was finally said. Diddy didn't return to court again. His seat remained empty. His name, once associated with success, charisma, and control, now tethered to shadows he could no longer hide from. The trial didn't end with fireworks, it ended with silence. And in that silence, there was clarity. This wasn't just about Kim. It was about every woman who ever smiled to keep the peace, who walked out of a room and said nothing, who buried their instincts because there was no space for them to breathe. But now there was, and that breath, long overdue, held too long, was finally being released, one voice at a time.